the story of the little girl who saluted her mom at her funeral. This little girl from California lost her mom when she was just 2 years old. Her mom, Megan, was an army medic who sadly passed away while serving in Afghanistan. And ever since then, this brave girl has grown up knowing nothing else but love for her mom and immense pride for her mother's work. And so when the time came to say goodbye to her mom, this 7-year-old dressed up in her finest military formal, complete with black shoes, white gloves, and a crisp blue jacket, all so she could honor her mom one last time. But that's not all, because upon seeing her mom's flag-draped coffin being carried out of the church, this little girl stood up straight, saluted, and didn't even budge when the wind tried to mess up her hair. She remained standing proud and tall until halfway through the ceremony, when she couldn't hold back her tears any longer and broke down in front of hundreds of people. It was such a heartbreaking scene that a photographer captured it, and soon later it made national headlines. And after the story went viral, thousands of people sent the girl cards, including some celebrities. But despite all the attention, the girl's dad said that she hasn't changed at all. In fact, she's still the same caring and giving little girl that she always was. And today, she keeps her mom's memory alive by wearing her mom's badge on her backpack to school every day. A boy was waiting for his dad to come home from war. Every night he would go to bed early so he could make it easier to welcome him. Every night he would set the table for two, place a chair for his dad, and eat dinner in silence. All the other kids his age made fun of him for doing this, but he didn't care. He had a picture of his dad pinned to the wall above his table. He talked to it every night before going to bed. The picture was old and worn out, just like the clothes his mother wore. His mom had told him that his dad was a superhero who would come home as soon as he could, but the boy didn't believe her. Every night, he would ask his mom if his dad was coming home tonight, but she'd never gave him an answer. She would just tell him to stop asking and go to bed. One night, as the boy ate his dinner, he heard footsteps outside. He ran to the window and looked outside. It was his dad. He was covered in dirt, and his clothes were torn. He looked nothing like the man in the picture, but it was definitely him. When his dad opened the door, the boy immediately ran over and asked if he was really his dad. The man knelt down and hugged him. He looked at the picture on the wall and asked where his wife was. The boy's face lit up when he heard this, because finally someone was telling the truth. This dad had been fighting in a war zone for years. He had seen horrible things and killed many people. He didn't want to be a father, but he knew he had no choice. He missed his son more than anything and wanted to give him a life that his wife had dreamed of. The woman in the picture wasn't his wife. She was the love of his life, but they couldn't be together. His wife had left him before their son was born, because she couldn't handle his dangerous job. As the boy listened to his dad's story, he realized that his mother had lied to him his entire life. She had told him that his dad was a superhero, but in reality, he was just a regular guy. Still, he loved his dad and couldn't wait to spend the rest of his life with him. From that day on, the boy would often ask his mom why she lied to them. She would just tell him that she didn't know how to tell him the truth. She didn't want him to grow up knowing that his dad was a killer. The boy grew up and became a man. He learned how to fight and defend himself. When he turned 18, he joined the army and went to war. He saw horrible things and had to kill many people, but he never forgot the love of his parents. After the war, he came home and lived with his father. They trained together and became best friends. The boy also found his mother and asked her why she had lied to them. She told him that she was sorry and that she didn't know what else to do. She had been scared that he would hate his dad if he knew the truth. The boy forgave his mother and continued living his life. He married a beautiful woman and had 2 children. He named his first son after his father and his second son after himself. Years later, the family was eating dinner when the oldest boy asked about the picture on the wall. He asked who the man in the picture was. The boy's father smiled and said that it was him when he was young. He told his son that he was a soldier and that he had to go away for a long time. He also told him about the woman in the picture, his wife, and how much he loved her. The boy's mother sat quietly, listening to her husband talk. She felt guilty for lying to their son, but she knew that it was for his own good. She had protected him from the harsh realities of the world, but now it was time to let him grow up and learn the truth. After dinner, the boy's mother called him over and told him the truth about his dad. She explained why she had lied to him and apologized for it. The boy was shocked, but he understood. He hugged his mom and told her that it was okay. He also told her that he was proud of his dad. From that day on, the boy respected his dad even more. He knew that his dad was a hero and that he had made the ultimate sacrifice for him. Many years later, The boy grew up to become a strong and brave soldier just like his father. He went off to war and fought for his country. He was injured several times, but he never gave up. He knew that he was fighting for something bigger than himself. When he returned home from war, he was greeted by his family and friends. They were proud of him and thanked him for his service. The boy's mother cried tears of joy as she hugged him. She was so grateful that he had come home safely. The boy's father was also very proud of him. He knew that his son had followed in his footsteps and become a hero. The boy's father told him that he was proud of him and that he had made him a better man. The boy's mother knew that her son was just like his father. He was brave, strong, and selfless. She was also proud of him and loved him very much. From that day on, the boy lived a happy and fulfilling life. He continued to serve his country and protect the innocent. He also never forgot the sacrifices that his father had made for him. The boy's father had died in battle, but his legacy lived on through his son. The boy's mother died peacefully in her sleep. She had lived a long and happy life. She was reunited with her husband in heaven, and they lived happily ever after. A 7-year-old girl from Florida saluted her mom's coffin at her funeral. The girl's mother, a medic in the army, died while serving in Afghanistan. How did the little girl find the strength to do this? What happened next was even more touching. This is the story of the little girl who saluted her mom. This little girl is just 7 years old. She's wearing a long black dress and is standing straight with her tiny hands shaking. She looks very scared, but also very brave. In front of her is her mom's coffin covered in flowers. She salutes it with all her might, then walks away with small steps. It's not easy to be so strong at such a young age. So what really happened? And why did this girl have to say goodbye to her mom like this? First, we need to go back a bit to understand the full story. In 2010, Leanne Evelyn Salazar was born. She had 2 loving parents, Manuel and Maria. The couple lived in Florida and were raising their 3 children there. It must have been a difficult task, because they have a son and 2 daughters. The youngest daughter is still only 7 years old, but the older ones are teenagers, so it's not easy to take care of both toddlers and teenagers at the same time. Maria worked as a medic in the US Army, while Manuel worked as a contractor for the Army. He supported his wife with her work and took care of the children when she wasn't home. Maria's job was dangerous. That's why she had to leave her family and move to Afghanistan. Leanne didn't know that saying goodbye to her mother would be forever. While Maria was away, she wrote letters and sent photos to her daughter so she wouldn't miss her too much. When Maria returned home, she would always bring her daughter gifts. She enjoyed being a mother more than anything else. She was so happy when she got to hold her little girl in her arms again. Unfortunately, Maria was deployed again soon after giving birth to her youngest child. She said goodbye to her family and left for Afghanistan once more. Little Lean stood waving at the door until her mother's car was out of sight. When her mum was gone, she looked at her dad and asked, "Will Mum be back?" He nodded. "Of course she will, honey." But he was lying. He knew his wife probably wouldn't be coming back. What he didn't know was that his wife would die on deployment. Maria was working at a medical station in Afghanistan when she heard a loud bang. An American soldier had just been shot. Without thinking twice, Maria rushed to the scene. She tried everything she could to save the man's life, but it was too late. The soldier was dead. Maria was deeply affected by the incident. Just 2 days later, she fell victim to a suicide bomb attack. She died instantly. The news of Maria's death reached her family a few days later. Her husband was devastated. He had to tell his 3 children that their mother would never be coming back. While her older daughters cried, Leanne asked, "Where did Mom go?" She had no idea what was going on. The little girl's father told her that her mother had gone to heaven. "Can I go to heaven, too?" asked the innocent child. "Not right now, honey," said her dad. "You're still too little for that." The little girl thought about this for a moment. "Then can I visit her?" "Yes, of course," said her father. "You can visit her any time you want. She'll always be waiting for you." A few days later, the family said goodbye to their loved one at her funeral. As they entered the cemetery, they saw a large crowd of people waiting for them. All these people had come to honor Maria. There were hundreds of soldiers there. They had all served with Maria. As a reward for her service, Maria received a very special honor. She was given a 21-gun salute. This is the highest honor an American soldier can receive. Then it was up to her family to say their final goodbyes. Little Leanne stood next to her dad during the funeral. She couldn't quite grasp what had happened to her mom. The girl missed her mother terribly and wanted her to come back. She often asked her dad where her mom was and when she would be back. but her dad had no answer for her. He was also mourning the loss of his wife and had no idea how to explain this to their young daughter. When the priest asked if anyone had something to say, the little girl raised her hand. She walked up to the coffin and said in a loud voice, "Mom, I love you." Everyone burst into applause. The little girl had honored her mother in the best way possible. However, the most exciting part was yet to come. After the ceremony, Leanne wanted to see her mother one last time. She walked up to the coffin, stood straight, and gave it a firm salute. The girl's father took a picture of this. He wanted to keep this memory forever. Within a few days, the photo went viral on the internet and made national headlines. People across the country were moved by the image of the brave little girl saluting her mother's coffin. The girl's act of bravery made many adults cry. However, the little girl herself didn't quite understand what was happening. All she knew was that she loved her mom very much and wanted to say goodbye to her. The photo was even seen by high-ranking government officials. They had the little girl and her family flown to Washington, D.C., where they met with many important people. The family was overwhelmed by the honors they were receiving. They were showered with gifts and flowers. In addition, the family received thousands of greeting cards from people across the country. Little Leanne was very excited about this. Her dad said, "It means a lot to us that so many people cared about our daughter and her salute to her mother. We are very grateful for all the cards." The little girl's father was especially moved by one of the cards. It contained a drawing of a little girl saluting a star. The text read, "Your mom is up there watching over you. She's your hero and you're her." These words deeply touched the girl's father, Manuel. He admitted that he hadn't realized that his daughter saw her mother as a hero. He said, "That's exactly what she was. My wife was my hero and the kid's hero." Today, the little girl is doing well. She wears her mom's badge on her backpack every day. It gives her the feeling that her mother is always by her side. She tells everyone that her mom was a great woman and a wonderful soldier. The girl's mother would have been very proud of her at the funeral. Even though Lean couldn't quite grasp what was going on, she knew one thing. She loved her mom very much. That's why she gave her a final salute. Do you think this little girl is the bravest girl in the world? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to share this article with your friends. The little girl's father has since remarried and now has another child. He's very happy that his wife accepted his children and that they get along well. "I found a wonderful woman who treats my children very well. I know my wife would have liked her."